You know I'm ripping it up, ripping it up, take you down, no playing around, walking that wicked Hellraiser. I'll lay your girl all up and tease her, ain't no right moves, just to please her, finger flicking like flipping my Hellraiser. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, real. Build back off that ego trail. It's up to me, then you'll stop out, yeah. Humpty Dumpty, Sally Wow. He fucks with me, so I keep him foul. I scramble his head, fuck his wife in his bed. Uncle James like this, really pulling you the rest that we got not dead. It's the hands in your nose, and I'll get paid to town. Walking that wicked Hellraiser. I'll lay your girl all up and tease her. Ain't no right moves, just to please her. Finger flicking like flipping my Hellraiser. I got my Hellraiser. Nobody's standing my way. Don't forget, I'm not here to play. It's not that e-reader. We just to rush. I'm done as the devil's moon crash and rap relative left flush. Superior action, snapping fast. The variants keeping their action smooth as a stripper's ass.
Impressive.
Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today we're going to be doing an overview on my brand new collaboration with Mechforce Knives for my Hellraiser model. Now you'll have to excuse how I'm doing this because what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this overview. Then on my system at home, I'm going to run captions and then transpose what I'm saying here and then use it directly for the description on my website. Hokey? Maybe. Lazy? Absolutely. But I want the actual description to capture the feelings that I have for these knives as I'm talking about them. So what we're going to be looking at here is the full-sized variation of my Hellraiser Folder collaboration with Mechforce Knives. Each knife is made with a titanium frame lock, which is 6AL4V titanium, VANAX super clean steel, which will be 3.8 inches in length, and all the small parts and hardware are also in titanium. The inlays are on both sides of the knife, which is something that I prefer to do on all of my frame locks, and all of the variations will feature Fatcarbon for the inlays. Now, what I had done a sneak peek on quite a while back was the original prototype, which is right here. This is now going to be the Hellraiser Mini. Because as I received it and put it in my hand, I was like, wow, I love this and it looks great, but for so many years, I've been used to handling my fixed blade, my custom Hellraisers, which are significantly larger than this. And by the way, larger than the Folder, full-size Folder as well. But there was such a dramatic size difference that I went, this just feels too tiny. And it bothers me a little bit. So I had to forego launching these at Blade Show this past year and ask for a quick redesign so that we could make the larger size. Now, the benefit to this is so much was invested in doing this prototype and having these parts ready for this knife that it wasn't worth abandoning. So there will be a mini version coming down the road, not too long, but still down the road, far from these that are launching right now. So at some point, you will have a choice between a full size and a mini. The mini is a 3.5-inch blade, which that does sound like it's still going to be substantial, but it plays off much smaller than it really is. And you'll see the same with the full size here in a moment, because I'm sure a few of you reeled when I said that that blade length is 3.8 inches. You're like, I normally carry a 3.5 inch. I don't want to carry a nearly 4-inch blade. Trust me when I say it comes off as a lot more compact than it really is. So I'm going to lay that out here, and we're going to go through very quickly the 4 variations that will be available. Starting off here, we're going to have a lava flow variant, and that will have the natural blasted titanium gray with lava flow inlays. Then there's the lava flow red and black edition, where the titanium frame will be black instead of natural gray. So everything is black and red with the lava flow inlays. And variants 3 and 4 are going to be purple haze, and then black camo, which when you get to my website, I'm going to be simply calling blackout, because everything on that knife is 100% black. So let's go ahead and get these unboxed fairly quickly. I'll speed things up here so that this isn't taking too long.
What's that bulge? What's that bulge I got in these pants? Whip it out, give it a flick, show her what you're working with. Slam it on the table, shake the earth with the weight thick. Yeah, beefy, heavy and strong, it'll get the job done. Yeah, it's hard, baby, thick and beefy too. Got me a big boy knife, calling it over. Baby, don't play with no whippy shit, nah. Don't play with no skinny shit, no. Gotta be a hammer in the pants.
Now let's do a quick size comparison, and you see that yes, the full size is considerably larger than the mini. The biggest change, however, besides the size, is the fact that I had requested to add these thumb studs to the full size. Now, we have not yet decided if we're going to change things up and add thumb studs to the mini. So, I'm not sure what to say on that yet, but I thought it would be really nice to have thumb studs or thumb discs on the full size to give you more methods of opening the knife. Me, myself, I prefer a flipper, so I was perfectly fine with just a flipper. But the more feedback I got from personal friends was, the more the merrier. Let's make it as flexible as possible. And I can't say I disagree with that. So, going through them, this is the standard lava flow. So yes, there's the all gray titanium, black backspacer, black pocket clip, black hardware, black captured pivot, stonewash blade with the hand rub satin flats, and then, of course, the lava flow inlays. Next is the lava flow black and red. Just so that you're aware, this is the most limited variation. So if you're buying based on FOMO, then this is the one that you're going to want to order when it drops on Wednesday at noon Eastern, because this is the most limited. Then we have Purple Haze, which will have the Purple Haze Fatcarbon inlays, the purple backspacer, purple pocket clip, purple hardware, and purple pivot. And then there is the blackout. Blackout is, as I mentioned, everything 100% blacked out. So the frame, the backspacer, the pocket clip, the hardware, the pivot, and then the blade, of course, gets the blackwash treatment as well. So 100% blacked out. And those are the only 4 variations being made available. Now, a valuable lesson that I learned with my Caladan was if you offer too many variations, it makes it too difficult for people to choose. And while the Caladan, both first and second run, were very, very successful, I still have a handful, I'm talking single-digit quantities, remaining a year later, 8 months later, on some of the Caladan V2s. So if you're looking at getting something along with your Hellraiser, I have, I think, 4 of the blue and white, 2 of the red, white, and blue, and 3 or 4 of the black and yellow. Grab yourself a Caladan while you're at it. That is the smoothest knife you will ever own in your life. And then currently through Bastards Knives in Spain, bastardsKnives.com, my collaboration with them, where they manufactured it, is my tibia. The tibia is also still currently available. Mine's a little dirty, I apologize. So if you like an aggressive Wharncliffe with still an ergonomic handle, that's going to be your choice there. Now, while I'm showing other knives, I want to show you where I came across Mechforce and why I appreciate them so much. Good friend of mine had one of the original Mechforce M1s, and I asked him about it. I said, hey, I came across these in the middle of the night one night, saw a couple people reviewing them, and they thought it was a pretty cool little knife. What do you think? And he's like, I like it. He goes, I don't love it, but I like it. He goes, I think it's a cool concept, being able to interchange these inlays the way they did this particular knife. He said, it's pretty cool, and it's made pretty nicely. So I got a hold of one of these, this one in particular, obviously, and I really liked it. I saw the potential for the brand. I saw that they weren't quite there yet. It was really well executed. The action is really nice, but some very small changes, and this would have been a knock it out of the park kind of knife. And it just slightly fell short of that. So, next in line ended up being the knife that I called my knife of the year last year. And that is the collaboration they did with Tashi Barucha. And that is the Son of Sam, the SOS. And oh my God, what a premium high-end knife this is. You sense it the second you pick it up. It's incredible. And it was when I handled this one enough, I was already in negotiations with another factory to make my Hellraiser. Things fell apart on that due to lack of communication, unfortunately. And I went, well, I don't know where to take it, but the Hellraiser is my personal favorite out of all my custom knives. It's also my most popular. So that had to be handled very, very carefully because I wanted to be the top tier of all my production offerings. So I needed to find a brand that could do a bulletproof knife with an incredible action and perfect fit and finish. And after handling this one for a couple of months, I reached out to Mechforce and proposed the collaboration, which I was very excited to see that they were happy to do. And here we are. So while I have had some exceptional quality knives in my designs that were being manufactured, that I am still to this day very, very proud of, this is a step up. This is another league. And yes, the price does reflect that. And they have priced this in line with their other collaborations like the Tashi and the Alpha Hunter Apocalypse. Another one that the second I got this in my hand, I was like, wow, I absolutely, definitely made the right choice in working with these guys. Now, while I am nowhere near the designer that Tashi is, Tashi will always be a legend, and I will never live up to his reputation. I can very easily say that Mechforce has done my work such great justice that it can sit here next to one of Tashi's knives and hold its own. They did an amazing job. Now, the Hellraiser was my first in my Hell series of handmade custom fixed blades. I've done the Hellraiser, I've done the Hellbound, I've done a lot of different ones in the Hell series. And it is, to this day, my single most popular design. There are literally hundreds of custom Hellraiser fixed blades out there in people's collections. Now, I believe it's because of the distinctive blade profile that sets it apart from everybody else's. Because what this actually is, this is a recurve tanto with a harpoon. And up until the time I made my Hellraiser, I'd never seen somebody do a steep recurve and do a straight edge tanto coming off of it. And when I was doing that, it came to a very pointed edge right here, and I didn't like that. So as I was developing the prototype, I rounded it off just a little bit, and that kept that organic shape flowing so beautifully. And I fell in love with it instantly, and honestly, it became an instant hit. As soon as I debuted the prototype, people started pouring in my inbox with orders. It was fantastic. Now, as I am dropping in images of my various Hellraiser builds in here, I want to specify that there was the original, which we now call V1. There was my V2, and then I went on and made a V3 at the very, very end. Now, what distinguishes the V2 and why I modeled this as a hybrid between V2 and V3 is the V2 was the first to get the forward finger choil in the blade. People had asked me to do it in the originals, and I refused to do it because I didn't like how it looked in my head. Then one day, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I was grinding a customer's knife, and I do a very soft radiused sweeping plunge, which looks great, and honestly, it's just a show-off thing. The problem is, sometimes you end up chasing that plunge, and you chase it too far, and things can get messed up, which is exactly what happened to me. And the only way to salvage that knife and make it proper was to cut a finger choil into it. So I reached out to that customer. I said, hey, how would you feel about a finger choil? He goes, I was one of the ones that wanted you to do finger choils before. He goes, I would love to have a finger choil, and I would love to have your very first finger choil. So then the V2 was born. I also switched at that point from doing my scale fronts in the Devil's Tail to this design, which is the Devil's Moon, the crescent shape that we've replicated here wrapping around the pivot. Now, the only real differences from V2 to V3 profile-wise is the V2, same with the V1 blades, are taller blades. And the V3, which I happen to have one here in my hands, this was a Vegas Forge Diamondback Damascus variant that I built, I decided to slim and sleek out that blade profile for V3. And then I added the Coke bottle shaped contouring to the handles, changed things up in that manner. So instead of the rear sloping down, it comes up this way, and it's got this additional contouring, which I find to be more comfortable. Now, the only reason I have this is I have one customer who I absolutely love this guy, not just because he's a good customer, but because he and I share a lot of things that we like. And he's a really super cool dude. For whatever reason, when I finished this knife 2 years ago, this was the last knife I ever made. And I messaged him later and said, okay, I need to get your shipping address to get this shipped out to you. It's finally done after that long wait. I forgot what he told me, but he never gave me his shipping info. So I've been holding on to this for 2 years in hopes that I can finally get it shipped out to him. I'd sent him images and I believe a video to show him that it was finished. But regardless, I still have that. I don't have any of my other knives to show, unfortunately. They are long gone. After 2 strokes and a heart attack 2 years ago, I no longer can make custom knives. So the way I provide for my family now is I take my designs and I turn them into folders, and I work with high-end manufacturers to release them. So it's a hybrid between V2 and V3. You see it's got much more slender just like the V3. And there's an example, by the way, of my plunges, the way that I actually grind mine. A little bit different than this, but very, very close. Now, let me get rid of this very quickly and focus on what you're here to see. Some very important things to note here. You do have a ceramic detent, which gives you the absolute perfect, distinct, snappy flipping action. And the ceramic bearings provide a silky, smooth opening and closing. I mean, it's truly fantastic. And it's tuned perfectly whether you want to use the flipper tab or you want to use the thumb discs. They did a fantastic job. Now, the flipper tab, we have carefully contoured. Let me give you a quick close-up on that. It is contoured really nicely and jimped really, really nicely. Because it was important for me, because just like you, I'm a collector, and I will sit here and flip a knife incessantly, especially when it's brand new and I'm breaking it in over and over and over and over. I wanted this to be as painless as possible. I didn't want it to be sharp, have a sharp edge. The jimping grabs you, but it's not sharp anyway. And I wanted it to be as comfortable as possible. Yeah. Now, there's another thing. I have a hidden lanyard post back here in the backspacer because there are rare occasions where I will put a lanyard on a knife. Very, 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 very rarely. And I know there are other people who do the same thing. And there are people that absolutely hate lanyards and do not want a big hole right over here in the side of their frame or anywhere else, distracting from the look. So I always try to hide my lanyard openings as best as I can. And once again, Mechforce did a killer job doing it. Another key thing for me, and I believe this was executed in my design in the Hellraiser better than I did in the Caladan, I don't like the look of a flipper tab interrupting the flow of the design when a knife is open. So what I like to do, and something that I picked up from David Mosier from his Crossfire, is I want to hide that flipper tab behind the frame. But there were people that did not like how the Caladan looked when it was closed, because we very much accentuated this to make it much more of a finger guard. Here, this does the exact same thing, but it's not as pronounced. It's much more subtle. So when the knife is closed, it kind of looks like, well, everybody else's knife. It's nothing crazy. So I'm very, very, very happy with that. Hopefully you're getting a chance to soak in all four of the variations here and get an idea for what you like the best. I'm going to flip these over so you can see them from the backside, because that's really where I think the purple haze jumps out at you. Because now you've got the purple pocket clip, all the purple hardware jumps out at you, then of course that purple backspacer. Now, the next thing has to do with this backside. It's the sculpted and skeletonized titanium clip that features the beg ball design. And that is right here. I have long believed that Todd's ball design is the best for retention without snagging the lip of a pocket. And luckily, I'm friends with Todd, so all I had to do is pick up the phone and call him and say, hey, I really would like to use, with credit of course, your beg ball design in my pocket clip for the Hellraiser. And he was very quick to agree to it. He was super easy to deal with. He's done the same thing for a few companies and a few makers. And the thing is, Todd's a super great dude. All you got to do is contact him and say, hey, I like the idea and I'll give you credit for it. I would just like to be able to use it. He's not going to go, hell no, I'm not going to let you have my design. He's a super chill dude about it. But he deserves the credit for creating this because this is his design. So that ceramic ball right there, or the two ceramic balls, is what's going to keep the retention of the knife in your pocket and allow it to glide in and out without snagging. It's brilliant. And the fact that it's raised up on two posts. See, I didn't just do the ball. I wanted to do the standoffs as well because that's what worked so well, in particular with the bodega, because now the clip is perfectly level. It works so well. So, yeah. Enough people have stolen from Todd over the years. I didn't want to do that, but I certainly wanted to use the design, and I'm very glad that he allowed me to do so. Love the guy so much. All right, let's get back to the knives. Let's talk about, let's lay these out here so we can look at the specs. Almost dropped that. Okay. Your specs are as follows. Overall length, 8.5 inches, which is, of course, perfect. Don't forget, the bigger ones hurt. Yours is just perfect. The blade is 3.8 inches in VANAX Super Clean. What is VANAX Super Clean? In a nutshell, because this video is going to run on long enough as it is, you are getting superior edge retention and superior stainless protection. You are not going to rust or corrode this blade. You can use it for absolutely everything and never have to worry about it. This is one of the ultimate EDC blade steels for a knife that you're actually going to use. And once you have cut with a recurve, you're going to realize how useful that blade really is. Because once you slice into something and you just draw straight across, the blade naturally pulls into the material because of the big belly and slices through it. Likewise, rocking cuts, very, very easy because of that pronounced belly that's right there. The tip is at the pivot line. Now, I've discussed this before on my previous designs, both with my spear point on the Caladan, and the reason why I did a drop point tanto on my scaphoid is I like my tips, whenever possible, to be at or below the pivot line, so that if I'm in a pinch grip and I want to open up boxes, I can simply dip that tip in there and slice. I don't have to do some ridiculous craning of my wrist to get that tip into action. So this, again, is the perfect blade shape for everything. And you're really, really going to enjoy that. Let's get that back over there. The room in the finger choil, you have 3/4 of an inch in there, baby. So even if you've got a somewhat chunky monkey finger, it's going to fit in there fine without risking slicing yourself open on the heel of the edge. The height, which is this way, at its widest point is only 1.5 inches on the knife. So this is very slender, very sleek, and takes up very little room in the pocket. And let's talk about the weight. Let's go ahead and measure this. Close this up. And we're looking at 4.9 ounces. For those of you that have a Caladan, that's 4.7 ounces. So this is nearly identical. So if you love your Caladan and you feel that you absolutely have to have a Hellraiser, but you were worried about maybe it was going to be too heavy, nope, not at all. And as a matter of fact, let's give you a size comparison as well, because I know how scary it sounds when I say that's a 3.8 inch blade. That does not play like a 3.8 inch blade, now does it? This is just under 3.8 inches. It's the way this whole thing is designed, it comes off smaller. I think that you're really going to enjoy that. Again, don't forget the Caladan's 40% off on my website right now until the end of Cyber Monday, which is, oh, hey, that's today as I'm uploading this. So you've got until midnight tonight. So yeah, I would hurry up on that. The collaboration being manufactured by Mechforce, they have proven their brilliance and their machining mastery and their finishing mastery with their collaborations with Tashi, with Rick Lala. I mean, think about the names we're talking about here, man. Tashi and Rick Lala. How insane is that? An Alpha Hunter design. The production quality is tier 1 and will immediately be recognized as soon as you pick it up and put it in your hand. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel the heft. You're going to feel the seamlessness in which all of this was manufactured. And then you're going to rip that blade open and go, wow. And that's all I want. I want you guys to be impressed, and I want you guys to be happy with your purchase. Because these will be $385. So that's about $100 more than the Caladans were at their full price. But you're getting that difference in the premium build. These are truly amazing. Now, these will be dropping live on Wednesday, December 4th at noon Eastern. Please make sure you're at my website. They're debuting on my website, SkeltonCustoms.com. It's the only way you can get one right now. There will be a small selection at a few different dealers' tools. For Gents, we'll have some later down the road, not on launch day. And Mechforce themselves are going to be attending a couple of different knife shows, and they're going to be bringing a handful of these with them. Not very many. So the only way to get one is to buy it through me. And I love you guys and thank you for your support. It's because of your support, both when I was making custom knives and now offering my custom designs in production knives, you have allowed me to let my dream come true, to bring out my Hellraiser, my favorite knife. Because if it weren't for your support and the popularity of the custom Hellraisers and how many sold and how many were out there and how many people raved about them, then a company like Mechforce would not have taken on this collaboration. They would have gone, you're a small timer, man. Nobody knows your name. You're not a Rick Lala. You're not a Tashi. And I'm still not, and I never will be. However, because of the popularity that you guys as customers have afforded me, that's allowed me to do this. And I thank you all for it. And I hope you enjoy your knife when you receive it. I will be packing them all up personally, getting them out the door personally. I might even give one or two a kiss on the way out the door. You never know. Extra bonus for you. My DNA. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me as always. I hope you enjoy your knives and have a very Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year.